welcome back to Not So Grand Garage. It's been a little bit. I've had a lot going on here lately. I've acquired some new projects back here, which we will talk about later. Give you a little sneak peek anyways. But, yeah. Anywho, we got some work to do on the flatbed. As I was dragging those projects home here about a week ago, we lost power brakes about 3 hours from home. I don't know if the booster itself or the vacuum pump failed, but either way, we were rolling between 15 and 17,000 pounds and no power brakes. Thankfully, the truck's got a manual transmission, so we were able to limp it home relatively safely without any issues. But yeah, I don't want that issue to come up again. So for a long time, I've wanted to get rid of the vacuum brake booster and go with a Hydroboost setup, which, if you don't know, the Hydroboost brake booster runs off the power steering pump, uses hydraulic pressure instead of vacuum pressure to increase braking force. So there's a couple ways you can do that. The F Super Duties of the same year range, or F Super, came with Hydroboost from the factory. You can go that route. It requires a pedal modification, the booster itself, and some lines. You're not going to find those new, so they're going to be reman or used. You can find the hoses and everything else. But I didn't really have time to track everything down. So in turn, I called up Battleborn Brakes, and they sent out a kit that is a bolt-on deal for the OBS and later Ford trucks. This bolts in with no pedal modifications. Everything is new. Comes with new lines, hardware, everything to make this a bolt-in swap for the vacuum brake booster. So we are going to tear into it and see how it works. Now, first up, we need to get this vacuum booster out of the way. I don't know that I'll cover that because it's kind of convoluted up under the dash, but you've got the two nuts that hold the master cylinder to the booster itself. You've got the vacuum feed line for the master or for the brake booster, so that needs to be unhooked. And then there's 4 nuts on the firewall under the up under the dash. So it's pretty straightforward to get that taken out. There's a pedal rod assembly that needs to be unhooked from the pedal, and then the booster can come out of the truck. Should be pretty straightforward, so I'm not going to really detail too much on that. I'll get it ripped out and bring you guys back. And there we have it. Brake booster is out. It takes a whole of about 15 minutes to pull the brake booster out. It said 2 nuts off for the master cylinder. Let it hang forward. There's plenty of wiggle room in the hard lines. You don't have to worry about disconnecting brake lines and stuff like that. And you can see the pass-through. And there's 4 nuts on the inside. I'll show you those or where that's at. Excuse the mess. But you'll have 4 nuts on the inside up here. They're relatively easy to get to. I just used a couple extensions, a swivel, a deep well 9/16. And it came off pretty easy, about 15 minutes, something like that. But here she is. This is, I believe, the original brake booster from the truck. I don't think it's ever been replaced. It's not been replaced since I've owned it, for sure. It's got a Bendix part number on it. Yeah, that is out. And this is what we are going back with. And we'll do a little comparison as far as the mounting and stuff goes. Here, this is over, but you can see The back side of that booster is angled for the firewall. This plate here is also angled for the firewall. You've got the rod that actuates the booster. Same shape, same design. This is a bolt-on deal. So this will bolt right in place of this without any modifications. And then we will need to make some adjustments to this rod right here. This rod length here is adjustable, so we will need to set that. We'll go over that. It's pretty simple. But yeah, I'm going to get this bolted up and go from there. I'm gonna go on and apply a little bit of thread locker to the nuts. Not sure if it's necessary or not, but these trucks do vibrate quite a bit. And I don't really want the brake booster to come loose for whatever reason. We got the booster all mounted up, and next up, I'm going to take these off here, and we need to adjust this rod. So essentially what we're going to do, there's a little jam nut on here that I'll need to loosen up, and then this can either back out or thread in. And what we want is basically next to zero lash between this and the plunger on the master. So when we slide this up and into place, right now there's no preload on it at all. I can run it all the way up. So we're going to back that out counterclockwise until I can feel slight resistance when I push the master cylinder up there by hand. Once I feel that, we will run that back in until that resistance is gone, just so. And then this gets turned in another 180 degrees and locked down. And that will set our distance between here and here. Now, the factory brake booster, the vacuum booster, had the same setup. It has an adjustable rod as well. So I don't know if they come factory adjusted or what have you. But yeah, so this is no different. If you install a vacuum booster, you probably need to check that as well. But yeah, we'll get this set up and go from there. Okay, we've got it now. Should be right at the zero lash point. Yeah, no resistance. So we're going to turn it 180 degrees in, just right there. We're going to lock the jam nut down. Okay, let's set that back up there, make sure we're still good. Everything looks good. So, go on and slide these back on. And I'm going to put a little bit of thread locker on them as well. And we will cinch those nuts down snug. Then in my case, I've got a little bracket over here, slid down here. That is for this brake line. So I'm gonna get it slid back up into place. And put the factory nut back on there to hold it on. And I'll snug that up. But with that said, the installation of the booster is done. So all we have now is to plumb it up. We've got 2 pressure ports, 1 in, 1 out, and 1 return line. So yeah, we'll check out the manual on it, or the instructions I should say, and see how it's supposed to be plumbed and go from there. So plumbing this setup is looking pretty simple. Everything comes with nice tags on it. You've got 18 mil O-ring for the Hydrobooster. You've got 5/8 O-ring fitting for the pump. 16 mil at the Hydroboost. 16 mil at Hydroboost. And the 1/2-inch flare at the steering box. That's the high pressure input for the box. So yeah, another nice thing is the port caps. I doubt you'll be able to see it, but the port caps on the booster itself are marked. So this is the 18 mil, so we will need this one right here, and that is going to be the pressure line from the pump to the booster. So that is the inlet. So 18 mil is on the left side of the booster on the inlet. Oh. Right here. So I'm going to lubricate that O-ring, get that threaded in and torqued down. And then we'll have a 16 mil over here for the outlet. That goes down to the steering box. And then you've got the pressure return, which we will tee into the return line, because I do not have the Hydroboost style pump, and I'm not worried about it. The kit comes with a tee and everything to do it, so that's what we're going to do for now. But yeah, I'm going to go on and get these fittings put in and go from there. Got the fittings installed. So next up, we need to get the factory pressure line off the pump, which it's not in the best of shape anyways. It's kind of got a little bit of a leak to it, so killing 2 birds with 1 stone here. I think I'm going to go on and knock this filter off and out of the way. So we've got plenty of room to work down there. This should be pretty straightforward. We've got 1 fitting that goes in the steering box and 1 fitting that goes in the pump. We'll run the lines up to the Hydroboost setup, and then we make the return, and we'll be wrapping it up. So far, this has been a really straightforward process, so we'll keep at it and hopefully get it wrapped up here shortly. Well, we've got her all buttoned up, got the system bled. I will say plumbing the thing was the hardest part, and it wasn't the kit's fault, but getting the hose out of this pump was kind of a nightmare. I ended up having to cut the line and take the actual fitting all the way out of the pump, get that fitting in a vise and heat it up so I could break that factory fitting loose. But I did get that apart. Got our return line teed in under the pump, got everything tied up out of the way. So it looks nice. And yeah, we're going to jump in, take it for a quick drive and see how it does. Seems to be driving all right. Steering feels good. Brakes feel really good. I will say, so the pedal is a little firmer. So it's a little different feeling. You actually have to apply a little bit of pressure, but that little bit of pressure transfers into a whole lot of stopping power. So it feels like it could lock the front tires up pretty easy if I tried. I'm not going to try, so I'm just kind of cruising it around a little bit, get the air out of the system. But yeah, so far it feels like a pretty substantial improvement. Oh yeah, it could definitely lock the tires up. Couldn't do that before. But anywho, I'm gonna drive around a little bit, get the air out of the system, get back to the house. Well, I think that's gonna wrap it up. So I'm pretty impressed. This thing stops really well. I will say, so like I said, the pedal pressure does feel different. It doesn't feel like you're pushing on air. It feels like you're pushing on a hydraulic cylinder now, which makes kind of sense. But the further the pedal goes down, the harder it stops. The pressure doesn't like go up drastically as you're trying to stop. So yeah, it's definitely an improvement over the vacuum booster for sure. And considering this could have been done in an hour if the pump fittings wouldn't have fought me so much. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed. Well worth the cost. So I'll leave a link to everything I used in the video description. Again, check them out, battlebornbrakes.com. Their kit is phenomenal, works really well. Could you piece this together cheaper? Probably. If you went with used parts and had access to F-Supers, you probably could. In my area, my neck of the woods, F-Supers don't really exist. They've all rotted out and they've been crushed at the scrapyard by now. Occasionally you can come across one, but when you do, it's been sitting in the yard for 10 years and you don't know what you're getting. So it's a toss-up. For the price of this kit, it's kind of hard to beat. But yeah, and it, like I said, bolts on, didn't modify anything. Just bolted on, hooked the hoses up, it's done. And again, I teed the return. Don't seem to have any issues there. It steers great, stops great, no complaints. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. If you got any questions, comments, complaints, drop them in the comment section below. If you would, hit that thumbs up button. Helps us out a lot and doesn't cost you anything. If you haven't already, please subscribe. We appreciate you watching.